Where Spirit Withers in Its Flesh Constraint is the third full-length album from Rennes, France-based thrashing heavy metal band Hexecutor. This is their third full-length album, and it is certainly the one where they've come into their own just a little bit more. They're following up their strongest record to date with Beyond Any Human Conception of Knowledge. They're pretty much picking up where that record left off, leaning into what was unique about their style as they moved from kind of a German thrash metal-inspired band back in the early 2010s, and now feature as something their own. And what that means is that there are black thrashing ideas here, there are epic heavy metal influences here, and they all kind of meld into something that is similar to, I guess, what I would describe as epic heavy metal or epic speed metal in most ways, with a blackened affect. I think Witching Hour is probably the band I would compare them to up front most of the time, but then if you're a fan of like Sacral Night and their second record, their debut full-length album, there's also something that is very different about this band that becomes a little bit more of their signature as we step into this record. So what we'll do is we'll cut to a clip of a song here, and we'll get a sense for the melodic values and the guitar tone of this record and how it carries the record through. So the notes are pretty straightforward here. There's more black metal influence on this record, but it doesn't interrupt the actual speed metal or thrash metal of it all. There are heavy metal songs on here which do interrupt those rhythms quite a bit and create catchier songs. The general escalation of both speed, intensity, and songcraft, which is memorable, is the kind of the boon of this record, but it also blurs things out of focus slightly because they're doing so much with it. There are several bands on Dying Victims Productions that are running the gamut between black metal, speed metal, and traditional heavy metal, and finding a lot of interesting sounds from it. But here we find a band that are kind of melodically rooted in a lot of French metal as well. And so if you're a fan of something like ADX or even the more traditional heavy metal from the early 80s from France, you might appreciate some of the melodies that come up here in these chivalric, atmospheric black metal moments as well. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in this record. It's kind of a mash of ideas until it all kind of falls together as a story being told. And so I point to like early Malacarpitan and some other things on here to sort of illustrate that there is variety here, and that it might seem like an unassuming underground thrash metal record when you take a look at it. But just like the last record, there's much more to this work than just subgenre and style. There are songs here, and I think that's a much bigger move than a lot of their peers are making in terms of finding a signature within not only the stories they tell, their curation and all that, and the general render of the record, but also writing songs that are theirs and feel like theirs. Now, I don't think that their fusion of all these forms is seamless, and I don't think it should be. I think that showing a lot of these classic influences and different subgenres really give them a lot of credibility and a lot of variety to work with. So if all this melded in a certain way, it might be kind of a boring mush otherwise. So I like the way that this is a band with a broad oeuvre and brings something in good taste in all of these subgenres that it considers. So for me, this is one of the best records of the month. Not only is the thrash metal side of the band viable enough, but there's also just some good heavy metal songwriting on here, which includes a lot of great leads, plenty of shredding, and just a good amount of rhythmic interest to build bridges between black metal movements, heavy metal, and thrash and speed metal. So if that's your kind of thing, check it out. It is a fine record, and it'd probably be a good idea to go back and listen to the previous record and kind of link the progression if you're interested in that kind of thing. Otherwise, check this out. It released today on March 28th, and go ahead and read my review for more of my thoughts. You listen